1, 2.
Good evening. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 8 of Three Men on the Record. I see there's people already in the chat waiting for us. We're here. And we have a special guest again this week, returning for the second time, our first repeat co-host, Stacey from Best Coast
Hello.
Music. So,
Stacey.
so welcome back. And what have you been up to since the last time?
Selling records, buying too many records, working, going to concerts, all the fun stuff.
Was Renee rap before or after you were on our show? I can't remember.
I think it was after, but I went to Lord and G Flip too. So I went to a concert a week for 3 weeks in October. Yeah.
And what one was your favorite?
Oh gosh. Lord, because I was at the barricade for the encore for 2 songs.
And we have another co-host.
Yeah.
That's what's the cat's name?
Buster.
Buster.
Yeah.
So everyone say hello to Buster.
Buster.
And hello to everyone in the chat over there. Let me look at my cheat sheet here. So what are we going to talk about first? We talked about new releases and our new acquisitions. And also there's a lot of tour dates that we were reviewing before the show. And I don't know if any of you got planned on going to any of these. Weird Al has announced a tour. Santana. What was it? Then it was Dos Amigos tour with ZZ Top and who did I say it was?
Dwight Yoakam.
And Dwight Yoakam are touring together. Josh Groban. Motley Crue. And I don't know how I feel about Motley Crue because I know he can't sing anymore.
He got a really good package.
A lot of them can't, unfortunately.
Yeah, but some are really bad. I mean, there's some just need to hang it up, like David Lee Roth. Have you seen live footage of him doing a show?
Mm-hmm.
It is torture. It is torture. Here's something good. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but Jeff Buckley, there's a documentary coming out on December 6th on HBO.
Yep.
Jeff Buckley.
Yeah, I'm excited
one of our choices for records.
Voice of an Angel.
Never Over is the name of it. Also, huge for the Beatles fans out there. Anthology is coming out. Mine has just shipped, and I'll be getting mine box set in a few days. That also means the documentaries come out. Anthology, the series is coming out on Disney Plus, and there's new material, which is exciting. What else? There was a bunch of other tour dates being announced. This is the time of year that everyone announces for next year. And you guys, who's going to any of these tours? I know Rush is going to see Rush. Jack Johnson. There's a lot of concerts, which is Noam. You're ready for he's ready for the top 5 Pearl Jam. I don't think that's that week, Lyle. I don't think that's that week. So anything in new releases for vinyl coming out that you guys know of? I know Stacey has one.
Yep. Charlie XCX new album, Wuthering Heights, goes with the movie. It's the soundtrack. February 13th next year, comes out the day before the movie. Also, I did not throw Buster away. I threw him in his bed that I got him because he likes to sleep on my desk. So I got him a desk bed, and he just jumps out of it now because he wants to be part of the show.
I want one of those for my cat.
It's like $20 from the Zone.
From the Zone. Mm-hmm. DLR was torture in 1991. Oh, really? Floyd's just mentioned the Leonard Cohen Hallelujah documentary.
Oh, that's awesome.
I haven't seen that. I'll have to put that in my notes of things to. So you guys show us off. Let's start off. Who wants to show off what they got this week in vinyl? I know we all got some new stuff. Scott, since I forgot you, I skipped over you last week. Let's have you go first.
I know. I think you offended Joe more than me with that skip.
I know.
All right. So we talked about this a couple weeks ago, but they have arrived, but they're still sealed because I'm busy cleaning everybody else's records and I don't have time to listen to my own. But I got the band. I got those, what do they call it? Vinyl file, audio file pressings now that Sony Universal's doing it. So this is the band record. the Velvet Underground
Those ones we
record,
talked about last week. Nice.
and the Marley Exodus.
You got them all.
Very nice.
I didn't get the Christmas one, but I got those first.
Oh, so Jake, you got anything new this week?
I got the deluxe, like Pink Floyd Animals redo. So 2018 remix, which it's got the album. Obviously, it's got a 32-page book. My camera just went kaput. I'll fix that in a second. And it's got the remixed album on DVD and CD. Plus, it's got the 77 original mix. So a nice foggy view of Pink Floyd Animals redo. No, it's not your eyes. It's my camera.
Yeah, there was those cool audiophile DVD and Blu-ray kind of stuff.
If we can get
I haven't really listened to like the audio Blu-rays and stuff, but I heard really good things. If you like 5.1 surround sound mix, there's the webcam. Stacey, what do you got new this week?
I got a few things. I'll show you guys 3. So I got a variant of After Hours. It is gold and red, very pretty. I got the Mondo, That Thing You Do. And then I got a blue translucent version of the Who's Next, which has been featured on the top 500.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's an essential.
So does that leave me next? That leaves me next. All right. So I've gotten, and a lot of people don't have any idea who this guy is. This is Jesse Winchester. I got Japanese press. It's a white label promo. This is kind of Gulf Coast folk music that I'm really into. What else did I get? I got this from Stacey. I've never owned it, and now I'm very happy that I own this. Can't wait to listen to that. I don't really know what this is all about. The airplane and Starship were out at the same time. This is like a 1988 or 89. Give that a listen. I got some kind of Brazilian classics compiled by David Byrne. So I don't know. I haven't listened to this yet. I don't know what to expect. And I'm a big fan of the Guess Who, but I don't usually love all live albums. So I'll give this one a listen. That's kind of it. That's kind of it I got this week. Very daft. Yeah, it's very daft record. So I think that's it for new. What did you guys in the chat, guys? If you got anything new this week, let us know in the chat. I guess we'll go right to the 500 Studio Essential albums, and we always start with the guest host.
Okay. My first album is a member of a boy band who went solo all by himself, Justin Timberlake, Justified. So the reason that I've chose this album is because I think it was a pivotal point where boy bands had kind of come to a slow. The boy bands were kind of stopping, and Justin Timberlake was like the first person from a boy band to make a solo debut. This was produced largely by the Neptunes and Timbaland. It's kind of a blend of pop and R&B. It kind of has like Michael Jackson vibes in it, which Justin says that he took a lot of, influence from. The album's only about an hour long. It was released November 5th, 2002. It sold over 3 million copies in the US, 7 million copies worldwide. The singles on here are Cry Me a River, which went to number 3, and Rock Your Body, which went to number 5. I think there's some other songs that also peaked. Senorita, Like I Love You, Rock Your Body is a really good one. This received a Grammy for Best Male Pop Vocal Performance for Cry Me a River and was nominated for Best Pop Vocal Album. It had a lot of critical acclaim, said that it showcased his vocal talent and like his maturity from the boy band. I think that it really was just kind of a turning point for the boy bands to go away and solo members to come out, and not a lot of them are able to do it successfully, or at least as successfully as Justin can. Harry Styles might be somebody else who was able to do it, but not a lot of them can. So yeah, I mean, it's a great album. I listened to it again today. I mean, the first disc I would say is a no skip. Second disc not as great, but the first one definitely a no skip for me.
He's a former Musketeer, is he not?
Yes, he's a former
There
Musketeer.
you go. Albums.
Mickey
That's
Mouse
the
Club.
top 5 Musketeer albums.
Well,
Mhm.
this might be a good time to explain how the records coming from the guest panelists get approved. It's always interesting. Of course, we're trying to be as the whole idea is to hand somebody 500 albums to have a cross section of everything. And Stacey submitted these, and the only one we were commenting on the chat thread was the Justin Timberlake. Was like, yeah, it's an important album. We know the singles, and that's all we know. We don't know anything about it. I'm pretty sure none of us could hold it up. None of us own it, but to be broadly representative of the music landscape out there historically, that was a significant. I knew enough about it to know it was extremely popular and people liked it. So, thank
Still
you
to
for
this day. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I still see it come up. I think it came up for sale on Whatnot, and somebody was like, I haven't listened to that in forever. Now I know I need that album. I haven't even thought about it in years. But then you see it and you forget it and you listen to it and you're like, I remember all of those songs.
Floyd, you gotta
You gotta expand your
you gotta open your
horizon.
mind. At least listen to it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if
what
I
about
will if
members
I
of-
will listen to Pink Floyd, Wish You Were Here, and Dark Side of the Moon, then you can at least listen to a couple pop songs.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
more
I was
R&B
in I
and
was in
pop.
Key West,
Yeah, give it a shot.
and all the members of what are they, NSYNC? I can't even
Mhm.
remember now. All of them were there. There was one of them was getting married, so they were in Key West the whole week, partying at bar to bar to bar, except for Justin. The other ones, they were all around Joey Fatone. We were in a pizza place at like 2 a.m. and my friend wanted a picture with Joey Fatone and gave the camera to her husband, and then he gave the camera to Joey Fatone to take his picture because he didn't know who he was. You don't drink. So Joey hands the camera to Joey Fatone, and she's like, no, you take the picture with, and he didn't know who he was. But the whole week we're running in and out of them. And I have a friend that plays at bars down in Key, or used to play at bars in Key West, and they all came and sang with him. And he loved the fact that he was in a boys band for once. So he was singing with NSYNC. And it was a pretty cool week because you just bump into him every once in a while. Except for Justin, I think probably flew in a spaceship the day of the wedding. But it was cool running into them all over Key West for like the whole week, partying it up. Jake, you want to do one of your albums?
Scott also had Lana Del Rey, so
Sure, yeah. I'll start off with a 2000er, and we'll start off with a little John Mayer, Room for Squares. It still is my favorite album of his. I think a lot of people, I don't know, I think they take Continuum or Heavier Things, probably put those two as his best. But I always dug his debut, September 18th, 2001. Is actually re-released. I think it came out in June earlier that year. Did really well, man. Great intro album. Good start. Did 5 million copies worldwide. Sold over 3 million in the U.S. alone. Produced by John Mayer, Clayton Reed, and other hands involved with that. As far as the hits go, No Such Thing. You've got Love Song, Your Body is a Wonderland, which everybody knew. Believe it or not, the song that I really liked on it, I loved Neon, which some people, for whatever reason, always felt that song was cheesy. I dug it. And I love Back to You as well, which I thought was a really good song. He even won. I mean, he won a Grammy for Best Male Pop Vocal Performance. And this album really put him on the map. I mean, prior to, he had an EP that came out prior to this. And, at that time, John Mayer was still relatively unknown. I think he really got known. He had an EP that came out with a few of the songs that obviously made room for Squares. But up until that time, he was pretty much unknown. There was a lot of word of mouth with him, with his touring, and people really talked and got the name out there. So I think by the time Heavier Things came out, and then once it was re-released when he was touring, like he really blew up. And if again, if no one's familiar with his first album, you know me, I'm a first threer, right? I always love the first 3 albums from a band because I feel like, sometimes all the rocket sauce is used in that first album, right? And everything kind of seems to go downhill a little bit. But I think with John, he really hiked up, great first start. Other 2 really built on that. But I just love the sound. I love the songwriting. And yeah, his skills are very Eric Clapton-ish, but he even said it himself. He steals from the greatest, right? He steals from Clapton. So that is my first album of the night.
Good choice.
I got a question for you, Jake. So, you like him as a guitarist?
I do. I mean, is it like what I'm hearing something I've never heard before? No. But he's damn good. I mean, I can't sit here and deny the fact that he is technically sound.
Yeah, he never. I like his music, but he never like wows me on the guitar, and I don't know why. But everybody else thinks he's great, so he must be great, and I must be missing something.
He's a great songwriter, number one. I think he writes good stuff. He's got a very unique voice, number 2. And he doesn't suck, playing the guitar. He's definitely good enough. Like I said, if you really listen to a lot of Clapton records and you just kind of pick up on some of those licks, yeah, some of those are Clapton licks, but at the end of the day, man, all bands take from the greats. The Beatles took a lot from, Chuck Berry and a lot of the,
called their influencers.
And, I mean, so many people have used so much from the ones that, laid the path, if you will. They're, the artists that inspired them. And I think that's what it's about, right?
Oh yeah. Now your first 3 album theory, I was thinking Pink Floyd. Does that work for you?
It does not. No. No. So, though I appreciate, a Piper at the Gates of Dawn, Saucer Full of Secrets, you've got the More soundtrack, you have Umaguma, you've got Adam Hart Mother, right? You have Metal, which to me, Metal is really the turning point. Metal is what really turned Floyd. I think they finally were done with the whole psychedelia and were ready to go in a different direction. I think David Gilmour had a lot to do with that because he was a blues guitarist first and foremost. Seeing him as a psychedelic guitar player, very weird. He could do it because, again, he's one of the greatest guitar players of all time. But no, I would have to say that it starts with Metal and pretty much goes all the way through the final.
For most artists, it is like the first 2 or 3 is the best, and then
Floyd was they were just in a genre of music that was hot at the time. And then Syd Barrett obviously, has his mental break. And from there, they're like, what the hell do we do? So I think with Pink Floyd, it's different because Roger Waters had to essentially take over songwriting duties because Syd Barrett wrote everything. So there had to be those years, all that crap out and really figuring out, where are we going? And I tell you what, they did one hell of a job figuring it out because when they did, man, magic.
All right, Scott, what do you have for us this week?
Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and get my maybe off the expected path one done first. So I'm going a little different direction here, but somebody had commented about that we haven't had any like old school R&B or soul yet, and that's very true. We have not. We do have it on the list. So I thought, okay, let's bring it out this week. So here's an album we had on the list, and I absolutely love Dusty Springfield, Dusty in Memphis. This is the Analog Productions 40 dual 45 RPM, but this is an interesting album. Probably the most interesting thing about it is if you look at like greatest albums of all time, like Rolling Stone, or it's in there. But when it was released, it actually was a let's call it a moderate flop from a sales standpoint. It only hit 99 on the Billboard Top 200, and they had put some effort into this record. They have the famous Memphis Cats playing the music on it, and that was actually recorded in Memphis down there in their studio. But Dusty was a little. She's English. She was a little intimidated because she had so much love for the Memphis. She did not want to go to Memphis to record the album. She thought she'd be too nervous to be in those famous places recording music. So they recorded the vocals in New York, and they added the orchestration in New York. So I thought that was kind of interesting, and the fact that now the album, by most people that's taken the time to listen to it and do some research, it's considered an iconic album. So Rolling Stone had it 83 on their top 100, top 500. Got some really good songwriters on here. Barry Mann, you guys might not know, but he co-wrote the Dan Hill song "Sometimes When We Touch," and
Your favorite song.
Sometimes when we talk.
It's a good
I
song.
still want to hear you karaoke that.
I
know you
think
added it.
I think I had the 45 back in the day when I had a little Tyco record player.
Yeah.
Carole King writes on 2 songs here. Randy Newman has 2 very good songs on this album. So the most known song is "Son of a Preacher Man," which is, if you're going to do a playlist of classic R&B soul, "Son of a Preacher Man" is going to be on there. That did chart number 9 in the Billboard 100. And the other single that charted is "Just a Little Lovin'," which charted at 26. So, I wrote down here the songs on here I really like, and like a lot of albums, and I like when an album does this. If you're going to put filler, put it near the end. The first like 6 songs are absolutely gorgeous, and they're just I was going to say simple relationship songs. I don't know if there's anything simple about relationships, but they're interesting takes, and they just the recording of the album, the mixing of the album, it's gorgeous. It's an amazing listen. And so if you don't know this album, and maybe it's a little outside your normal wheelhouse, you can pick you can pick a repress up for like $22 brand new. Give it a chance. It's absolutely a stunning record. So that's my choice this week.
All right. One of mine, in the way, some of the ways I decide if a music is really good is whether or not the Muppets covered one of their songs. That is one of the precursors for me thinking about great albums. Did the Muppets cover it? If so, why not? If not, why? But my record that I kind of want, like, almost want to call a banger for a buck. So the records you can get pretty cheap and you see them everywhere and you always walk by them. My record is Harry Belafonte's Calypso. Yes, Harry Belafonte's Calypso. Leads off with Deo. So this is another album that has a song that everyone sings, and it's all woo, yay, woohoo. And if you really listen to Deo, it's about the plight of plantation workers. So it's not exactly, but it's become an anthem. It's, one of the greatest movie scenes of all time from Beetlejuice. Also, one of my favorite songs that I'm always singing for some reason is Jamaica Farewell. So he wanted to introduce to America, Caribbean music, to to America, and he did it with this. He had, there's some nice Trinidad calypso. It's before reggae, but kind of Jamaican folk songs with Jamaica Farewell. Man Smart, Woman Smarter. I think people love that. This is also probably it's the first LP, or from what I've read a lot of times, this is the first record, full LP. You have an autographed copy of that album? Nice. And it's the first one to sell 1 million copies. LPs were invented in 1948 by Columbia, and until the mid 50s, it wasn't a mainstream. People were still doing their 78s, but this was the first mainstream record to sell 1 million copies. But also bring Harry Belafonte to the forefront. He was nicknamed the King of Calypso, but also this also catapulted him into the civil rights movement. Heavy involvement with that. He was a confidant to Martin Luther King, an advocate to abolish apartheid. Very important figure. And he always felt that if you're a celebrity and you have that platform, use it basically for good humankind. So he was always advocating stuff through his life, and it is a great listen. It's fun, and that was my pick for this week.
Well, wouldn't you say, Sean, that when we get back to the live albums, Mr. Belafonte might have another one that gets
like the Carnegie Hall one?
Carnegie Hall is good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
you sing
so well. A lot of record
chorus.
Yeah.
So I'm walking around all the time, and I started singing that song. I don't know why, but it's just a great album.
Yeah, Calypso did so well, right? A lot of record execs, they all thought that basically that's where mainstream music was going to go. A lot of people thought rock and roll was going to be dead, and Belafonte is pretty much what the in thing was. Thankfully, rock and roll hung around.
Yeah. And his plan was to become an actor. So he went to acting school, and then he got a singing at night in clubs to pay for the acting school. And in acting school, he also was one of his co-students was Marlon Brando.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which I always find fun facts. All right, we're back to Stacey.
Okay, back to the pop girl who brings albums that are very recent. So my next album was released in 2019. It is Billie Eilish's When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go? This is Billie Eilish's first album. So if you don't know, this album was recorded in her brother Phineas, who is the producer, in his bedroom. So they didn't go to a studio. They didn't professionally record it. They recorded it in his studio with natural light, very small room, very intimate, and recorded it together. If you haven't heard the album, it's a lot. Oh, my light just died. It's a lot of whispering. It's very quiet, but a lot of bass. It's a lot of different kind of music. It really, I think, changed what people thought pop music was. So a little bit of facts on it. Released March 29th, 2019, 42 minutes long. Sold 3 million copies in the US, 6 million worldwide. Singles that were on it: Bad Guy, You Should See Me in a Crown. Yes, Bad Guy, You Should See Me in a Crown, and Wish You Were Gay. It peaked at #1 on the Billboard 200. It had widespread acclaim for the sound, the lyrics, the vocal style, the dark themes, the production. And it won several Grammys: Album of the Year, Best Pop, and Best New Artist, all that year in 2020. I think it definitely gave Billie Eilish a place in music as a young artist. And I think it also gave Phineas a place in music as a young artist. It's got a lot of like very experimental techniques in it. That's very true. So the breakout single was Bad Guy. Everybody, if you've heard Bad Guy, then you know that there's also a remix that was done with Justin Bieber. So it had 4 Grammys. What was it? Album, record, song, and new artist. Some interesting facts about the album. On the very first track, it is an opening track and it's kind of her and Phineas laughing, but there's this noise at the beginning of it, and it's actually her taking out her Invisalign, and then they're laughing about it. So it kind of just sets the tone of like their like banter, and that like even though there's some serious topics on the album, like it's just not that serious all the time. Their Office actually helped make a hit. The song My Strange Addiction includes real quotes from the episode Threat Level Midnight, and they went to Steve Carell and the cast to get the green light. So if you listen to that, you'll have to keep an eye out for that. And then the album is basically, Billy describes it as like a dream. So it's good things, it's bad things, it's a question with any answer you want. It could be anything. It's dark, it's light. That's kind of why the album is called When We All Go Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go? What happens when we're sleeping? What's that thing lurking under your bed? And I just love the play on the music. I love the bass, I love the whisper, I love the quiet. I love Billy's style because it's so different, but she's made it so popular.
I have a question for you, Stacey, about this record, and I've listened to it before. Amongst the vast landscape that is pop music, why do you think this record resonated so much?
I think that it was the first time that pop went dark.
Okay.
Like in recent years, at least. I mean, it's been dark before plenty of times, but I think that this is like a darker album when everything else was very like bubblegum pop happy. I mean, if you think about the time, it was right before COVID. So if you think about everything pre-COVID, everything was pretty happy and poppy. To compare, Taylor Swift's last album was Lover. It was like everything was in that sense. And then here comes Billy and Phineas, and it's this dark album that's talking about these things that nobody else is talking about. And I think that people who maybe were struggling at a time in their life or didn't know answers to questions that they had about what was going on in their life could listen to this and feel like they could relate to this versus these happy poppy songs. Yeah. And nothing sounded like it. It reminds me a lot of like 9 Inch Nails when they went from like very industrial to more bassy techno, but at a slower pace. And I love Billy's new stuff. I think that next to this album, her newest album is her best.
It certainly has a lot of counter pulp culture paradigm to it. It's like it broke out of like what you expect. I don't know actually whether I like the record or not. I found it interesting.
It is very interesting. Yes. I mean, I think that some of the, I mean, there's the singles. There's also other songs on here that I think should be considered. Like You Should See Me in a Crown is a great song lyrically. It's a great song musically, like if you listen to it, but it is very different than anything you were hearing. When the Party's Over is also an amazing song if nobody's heard that one. So,
and if you ever get a chance, look up Bad Guy on Saturday Night Live. Her when she was doing that and the room was moving.
Her performance on Saturday Night Live was great.
On that was amazing.
And this is the Interscope Collective version, and it came with these pictures, and it really just kind of like puts the album into perspective, I think. And then this is kind of like, except that has a big spider on it, so I don't like to look at it.
Also with so the first time artist receiving Grammy Awards, she got the most, and who was the person before that she basically tied her?
Christopher Cross.
Christopher Cross. A debut album, so she topped him, or I think it was either the same or
I think she tied him with 5. She swept.
She got 4.
She got 4. Okay, I thought she tied him.
4 probably.
He got 5.
We got 5. Woo!
Chris and I are bros.
Also, if you like The Office, and there's also a video on YouTube of Rainn Wilson going to Billie Eilish's house and quizzing her on Office trivia. You got to watch that. It's pretty cool because she's a huge Office fan, and it was kind of cool when she met him. She was all nervous, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah, she got an Oscar for the Barbie song. She also got an Oscar for a James Bond song, I think. So,
Oscar winner also. Crystal
Yep.
Cross doesn't have that.
Nope.
Okay, Jake, let's have you go up.
And I'm still hanging in there with the 2000s. Gersh darn it. And I'm going with my favorite. It's tough. It's kind of between first two. They kind of go back and forth to me, but tonight I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go with Coldplay's Parachutes. July 10th, 2000 was the release. Under an hour long, 42 minutes, 25 seconds. U.S. sales did over 3 million. Worldwide, we did over 8 million. Now, this is one of the band's first three. First three for me. The first three I thoroughly enjoyed. After that, I don't know. I just I went away for a while, I guess you could say. But the album is loaded with, I think really what really catapulted Parachutes, in all honesty, this kind of gave me a feel of like the old records, right? Back in the days when the Beatles and the Stones and a lot of these, artists back in the 50s and 60s where, singles really were the thing, right? And we were slowly kind of moving into the album forte. Parachutes actually really got the notice mainly off of their singles, right? Off of Yellow, off of Trouble, off of Shiver. Then, of course, you've got Spies, Sparks. My favorite song on the album, one of, is the very last song, which was Everything's Not Lost. Highly underrated song. But I think the 10 or 12 songs on this record, there's not one song on here to me that doesn't belong on it. Again, Yellow charted, I think, at 36 on the charts. Shiver was number 29. Trouble charted at 61. As far as awards that were won, I know they did get a Grammy Award for Best Alternative Music Album. They also won a Brit Award, British Album of the Year. And I think what makes Parachutes such a great record is this really, let me make sure I'm getting on my right camera back so y'all can see me. Hey, we're back. This record kind of, to me, marked the end of Britpop. We were kind of going out of Britpop, which one of my favorite bands of all time, Shine, a little Oasis. Parachutes, Coldplay coming into this in the late 90s, around 2000. This was the movement to kind of going to that completely different sound and going away from the Britpop that, Blur and Oasis and some of the other bands did. Rush of Blood to the Head also was very close to me, grabbing that one as well, because I think both records are amazing. But I enjoyed more of Coldplay's more chill and very just kind of melodic and spacey kind of tones. That really resonated with me, I think, more than the stuff that they're doing now, which is kind of more pop oriented and kind of more electronic. I don't think it's bad, but it's not their first three albums. So Parachutes is my number 2.
All right, Jake.
Great album.
Awesome.
I saw them in concert right about the second album time, around 2002, 2003. They were amazing.
Best time to have seen them, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Collective Soul opened for them.
Yep.
Nice. All right, Scott, you are up.
Yeah, I just good pick, Jake. I think it's hard to see. Tree said after Viva La Vida. I would say after X and Y, you could pretty much just listen to the singles on Coldplay.
Okay, so that's exactly where I'm at, Scott. We're in agreement. I don't think Viva is bad,
No.
but I think again a change after, because they've even stated, right, and you probably see interviews or a magazine article that the first 3 records was more or less, it was a trilogy, right? It all blended in together, right? And then I think Viva La Vida really was that in between, right? Kind of like that purgatory album, if you will, just that in between of kind of where we were, where we're at, where the hell are we going to go? And that's kind of what Viva was for me. I don't think it was bad, but nothing takes the first 3. My opinion. We all know what those are.
Yeah. Your first 3 does hold up with Coldplay very well. So. All right, it's me, Sean, right?
Yep, it's your turn.
All right. So the other thing, I always rewatch the show and I always catch the comments we don't necessarily see because it's like Whatnot. Sometimes you can't catch everything. But one of the comments was, "Where's Bad Company?" And it's interesting because Bad Company was selected for a show and we pulled it out at the last moment to do something else. So I am correcting that wrong. I'm honoring the recent inductees to the Hall of Fame. And my record tonight is Bad Company, Straight Shooter. So Jake and I had one of our, probably the only time me and him can talk intelligently is when we talk about like something like Bad Company. We went back and forth and we were trying to decide which album goes first. And we determined, both agreed that the more solid album is actually Straight Shooter. And
100%.
So Straight Shooter it is tonight. So it's 2 million sales in the US, 4 million in worldwide. It was released in 1975. I mentioned very belated Hall of Fame inductees. The Hall of Fame's got to speed this stuff up. I mean, come on, let's get these people in. Right before they went in, we lost Mick Ralph, so he couldn't even be there to get honored. One of the greatest blues rock guitarists in the history. So you might be thinking, well, what's on this album? Well, it starts off with one of my favorite Bad Company songs, "Good Lovin' Gone Bad," that classic upbeat Bad Company song. "Feel Like Making Love," which was one of the singles. Let me get here. I don't have memorized. Oh, well, I should have been able to memorize it. It was the number 1 song. And "Good Love and Gone Bad" was 36. So that was the 2 singles. And it's always surprising when you actually do a little research on these records and listen to them again. The listen is always a little different than you think it's going to be. And then the facts you thought that were facts was just your imagination. You had remembered wrong. Because I was like, come on. Oh, God, help me out. Johnny Was a Rock Star. What's that song?
Shooting Star.
Shooting Star. God, I'm turning 60 this year. I'm losing my mind. So you would think Shooting Star, but that's because we all grew up like with classic rock, and that remained a staple of classic rock. And it's around today, and some people might even say it's the biggest hit off the record. It wasn't even a single. So it really has staying power. Other songs on the record that I really like are "Deal with the Preacher," but it's really a solid listen, very heavily blues rock based record. I happen to think that Paul Rodgers is in the running as the best rock vocalist of all time. I'm not going to say he's the best because there's a lot of good singers out there, but he's in that conversation. So if you don't own it, it's another one you can pick your trip on this. You can either do this, and this is like $60. This is the Analog Productions version. But probably the more affordable is to find somebody stream on Whatnot that sells really good classic rock used records and pick it up for probably $8 to $10 in VG++ condition. So that's it for the week, Sean. Bad Company, Straight Shooter.
All right, excellent. All right, my next album And I was, when we start looking at these things, I look for like videos and interviews with the artist. And I was watching this one, and this person was like, wow, look how young this person is. And just listening to them talk, it was pretty funny. And it wasn't all that long ago that Adele was 19.
And Adele's going to the ceiling.
Whoa. What's that all about? This is Adele 19. This came out in January 28, 2008. And of course, it indicates the year, how old she was when the album was released. This is her first album, 19, 21, 25, and then 30. But this week got introduced to her voice here. And the interview I was watching, I mean, it was really funny because she was talking about how she pretended to be into Korn, and I forget who else she said, because she liked the outfits. And she really didn't like them, but she was pretending. And then she went to a record store, and in a bargain bin, she picked up Etta James and Ella Fitzgerald. And it hit her so hard that you can see where her influences came. Her influences and how she sang really was influenced by bargain bin CDs, 2 for whatever English, whatever it was. But 2 bargain CDs influenced her so much that we did not pick 30. I picked 19 because it was the first. Again, there's so many great songs in all her albums. This one has Chasing Pavements. And then when I was listening to today, I was like, who's co-hosting today? It's Stacey. And there's a song on here, Make You Feel My Love, Bob Dylan.
I was muted. I sold that album specifically because that song is on there.
And again, it was my wedding song also.
But you're still married.
Well, that was my first.
My wedding song that we danced to was Love Song, which was a Cure song, but guess who it was sung by?
You told us this before, and I was
Right.
shocked.
Adele.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
So it sold 3 million copies in the U.S., 6 million worldwide. U.S. it chart position at 21. Was Chasing Pavements. It peaked at number 4 for album. Obviously, widespread acclaim for her soulful sound. And the way she kind of got discovered was MySpace. They put 3 songs on MySpace, and someone heard it, and she got kind of a record deal. I think she was backup vocals or something, but it kind of got her in the door. So MySpace was relevant for Adele. So if you can get a chance, give it a listen. I think a greatest hits album of hers would be amazing. Because I mean, I could listen to the whole thing. There was like one song where she did too much beep bop dee 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 doo that I was like, oh, I don't want that one. But the rest of the album, you can just sit there and listen to the whole thing. I think she could sing the phone book and sound amazing.
Yeah, and to put more scientific data behind Jake's theory. First 3 albums. I don't know what happened on that 4th one, but
I think they're still pressing those 30s.
Adele is also
for $5.
Adele is also in the company of Christopher Cross and Billie Eilish that has won all 4 of the major categories in her career.
There you go. So
somebody mentioned Christopher Cross has almost gotten an Oscar. He did get an Oscar
for Arthur.
Arthur's theme did get an Academy Award.
So there you go. She didn't get 2 like
he
did, but
Baccarat.
Adele also got an Oscar for her James Bond song.
There you go. Did she get
one for Skyfall? I think I remember that.
I think so. I thought she did.
Probably like the one of the best comeback Bond songs. She saved it. I really wasn't up. I love Chris Cornell and I miss him terribly, but I wasn't up for the Cornell Bond song. It wasn't a Bond song to me.
So what album is Love Song on?
Oscar.
Is her the Love Song version on what album is it on of hers? Or is it on an album?
I don't think it's on an album.
I don't know. It could have been a single, could have been on an album. I have 19 and I've listened to it a couple of times.
Well, I'll chalk it up to the presence of Stacey, but Sean and I contributed. We are 6 albums in, I believe, and half of them are women.
Yeah.
Hey,
I wanted to mix it up because we're talking about the classic rock stuff, but then I started thinking we're neglecting some of these other things, and that's why I kind of chose what I chose today, was something a little different than what we've been, because we're old men playing 70s 80s rock, and there's other things we do listen to, and I
Who
wanted
you
to
calling old?
highlight those today. And I also want to kind of focus every once in a while on a show that at least 2 or 3 that we pick are $10 grabs at local record stores that you can get really cheap. Dollar bangers. I know Scott ain't gonna like
That's twice in one
that. Yeah,
sentence.
Scott's not gonna like that one. All right, so Stacey, what do you have for us next?
So my hint for this one is April 26, 1992. There was a riot on the streets. Where were you? Sublime, self-titled, clearly. This is not from the 2000s. This was released in 1996.
There's a lot of things in
Um,
'96 that were good that year.
I was a
Jay-Z's first
freshman in high
album,
school. I
That's
listened
all I heard play nonstop in school.
I
Nonstop.
listened to this through high school all the time. I mean, over and over. The songs are not long. It's not a long album. It is 39 minutes and 27 seconds long. US sales are over 5 million copies, 6-time platinum, and worldwide sales is approximately 10 million copies. Singles on this, I mean, most everybody has heard them. The big singles on this were What I Got, Santeria, Wrong Way, but you've also got Garden Grove. You've got Paddle Out, Pawn Shop, Doing Time, Caress Me Down. There's just so many good songs on here. It didn't get any major awards, but it definitely is an influential album, and it's now considered one of the best albums of the 90s. It has a very good like fusion of funk and reggae and ska and hip hop. This was probably the first album that I listened to that really opened my eyes to other genres. Other than like the pop music that I listened to in the 80s and the early 90s and boy bands and that sort of thing. This was probably one of the first things I listened to kind of explore other music. Unfortunately, this came out after Brad's death, so he never got to enjoy any of the, acceptance, the fame. He didn't get to have any of that stuff, didn't get to celebrate, how well this did. It's for me, it's very relatable, and I feel like at the time, I mean, I was, like I said, a freshman in high school, so I was like 14, and I obviously hadn't gone through much, but I know that other people who would listen to it, you can listen to these songs and they sound very happy and boppy, but they are not, and there are real issues that they talk about on here, and I think it's just important to bring it forward, and they still relate to today, these songs. One of the things that I like on this song. So this album, like I said, I listened to throughout high school. Same in the End is track 4. It's a very fast song. I would sing this song in my head while I was doing competition swimming in high school to help me swim fast. So like I can repeat every word in that song. I know it by heart. I sing it in my head all the time. It's just really good. And although, it didn't get any awards, it's a cult classic, I think. I think that it really influenced other bands. It influenced 311, Slightly Stupid, those sorts of bands. It was huge on the West Coast. As you guys know, I live on the West Coast. I grew up in California. It was huge. Everybody was listening to it. And it's so unfortunate that we don't have Brad anymore. I think they could have made a lot of really, really great music from it. So
His
singles
son's
on here.
carrying it on though. His son's carrying the torch.
Yeah, which is good. What I Got was number 1 on the Billboard Modern Rock Tracks. Santeria was US chart position 27, and Wrong Way was chart position 22. So skip the 90s.
So I got a question for y'all. You are familiar with a 70s show, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can anybody tell me the name of the theme song in the 70s show?
We're all
I
right.
don't know the name
We're
of it, but I
all
know
right.
who
Or
sung it.
Can anyone chat? Can you help me? Anyone tell me the name of the theme song for that 70s show?
we're all right. Isn't that what it is?
No, it's no. It is Cheap Trick. I know it's Cheap Trick.
So maybe it is, because I always thought actually it was In the Street by the next
Johnson. That's how it ends.
band I'm about to promote. I always thought it was. Maybe I was wrong. But this band sadly has achieved cult status over time. Some great Southern musicians. One of which, Alec Chilton, who used to be in a band called the Box Tops when he was a teenager, had a hit called The Letter, if anybody's familiar with that song. Well, he teamed up with Andy Bell, and who was
Crisco?
a studio musician, Andy Hummel and Jody Stevens, and they formed a band called Big Star.
Yeah, it's Big Star.
And I thought In the Street was
It
the
is.
song, the cover song they used for the 70s show.
It is.
Well, I got it sorted out. Here's the confusion. It was a Big Star song, but they used the cover version by Cheap Trick for
By
most
Cheap
of the
Trick.
episodes. Yeah.
There you go.
There you
Okay.
go.
So a lot of people, I guess, they don't know that, but this was a band that should have sold millions of records. And the album that we're talking about tonight is Big Star's #1 record. And this originally came out in September of 1972. And this, when it came out, it hit widespread acclaim. Like, there was a lot of heat on the album, and it sold relatively well, I think, for the first several months of its release. But the problem was, if you watch the documentary about them, problem was the Stax Records did a horrible job, I think, of promoting the record. And it thank you, Chris. So for seasons 2 and 8, Cheap Trick, season 1, thank you. Yep. So it tells you I didn't watch a ton of 70s show, but I knew the theme song because of Big Star. But the record did not it did not sell millions like, the first two that I mentioned. Overall, it probably sold about 100,000 copies, but it hit cult status over the years and has probably sold about 500,000 to 1 million. It's been released a few times, actually. So the original, like I said, was in 1972. The copy that I've got here is I think a 2008 reissue. They did reissue one also, I think, in 1986, and I think they also just recently reissued it again. So this probably would also go on the list, not only as one of my essentials, but probably one of the best cult classic underground, should have sold 5 million copy albums that never did. And the whole record is great. My favorite song on it actually is 13. But it had In the Street, it had 13. It had my favorite song on it, which is called The Battle of El Goodo, which Alec Chilton wrote. This was out on the Ardent label, which was like a subsidiary of Stax. And believe it or not, one of the main reasons I wanted to pull this record out was, here we go back to my turntable, was that this is a true Rolling Stone top 500 record. Let me see if I have notes. They rated it as number 406 of 500. They had 3 albums, and the other 2 were nothing like this one. In fact, the other 2, because more or less what happened is because of the album sales, because it technically bombed, if you will, it had a huge effect on Chris Bell, who was guitar player and singer. In fact, I think it more or less contributed to his depression that he suffered for several years, and he died tragically in a car wreck, I think in 1978. Like he after this record, it failed miserably. I think eventually he just kind of he vanished. He tried to make a comeback. His brother got with him. They went to London, I think, and did an album called I Am the Cosmos, I believe, because he was really searching for himself. And he found spirituality. He was very big into faith. The song I'm a Cosmos is such a great song. You should just type Chris Bell, I Am the Cosmos, and check it out. It's a great song. And he, if I remember correctly, he was managing, I think his family owned a restaurant. I don't know if it was like a fried chicken restaurant or something along those lines. It was a restaurant. Someone can fact check me on this. But I think he kind of helped manage it. And I don't know if he was leaving work, and I don't know if it was raining, but his car crashed, I think, into a telephone pole, and he was killed instantly. But he was a huge influence in a lot of his sound, and a great writer as well. He was a big part of this album. And of course, the second and third albums, Alex Chilton was still with the band, but it was more drug induced. It definitely was completely different. But again, for those of you who've never heard of Big Star, put the camera on it kind of one more time. This is what you want to get. By far better than the other two. Should have sold 5 million. Again, only did about 100,000. I'm so thankful that they reissued these because I think it should be in everyone's collection. So that is my end off. Couple of 2000s, and we had to take it back another 53 years to get the mention on this.
Well,
but enjoy.
That's a great selection. That is a very underappreciated album by the masses, and Floyd's right when you look at some of the bands that came later and they say, well, who were you influenced by? A lot of them cite this Big
number
Star
one record.
Yeah.
Yep. A lot of people were influenced by Alex Chilton. A lot of people were really influenced by this stuff.
I put it on my list of things to listen to because I haven't really, it's not been on my radar, but it is now.
Well, it's not a record unless it's not a record you see in the used bin. It's just not out there. You usually have to buy like a repress of it, or
it's super rare. I've seen, I've been to the Austin convention 4 times, and I've seen it twice. In fact, I think, and I don't think that he is here, but Dig It Up Records, he had a copy. He got one, and I think he sold it in one of his shows. But I did come across one. It was beat up, but it was one of those moments where I did go to the vendor and was like, is it cool if I just take a look at that record? I just wanted to hold the thing and just look at it, get a feel for it, be like, this is an original, because they sell upwards of $500+, and they didn't press a lot of them.
Yeah.
All right, Scott is up.
All right, so I'm going to join Stacey in 1996. I always feel like I'm fighting a little bit against the perception that I'm a classic rock guy only, but I've always told my friends that my favorite period of music was actually post-grunge alternative, like 90s. I love that stuff all the way up to sometime in 2005. Well, I still follow those bands, but there wasn't new stuff, new artists coming out that had that sound. So anyway, the band tonight is Matchbox 20.
I was waiting for you to mention that, man.
yourself or someone like you. And I didn't know this, but when I was doing some research for the record, apparently the band caused quite the kerfuffle when they heard somebody say this somewhere, that phrase, and they liked it so much. The album was not going to be called this. And so they had to rush to get the album retitled this. And the record company was not happy, but they did give them their wish. So let's talk about this. This record came out in late 1996. It was like October. Um, it has sold, maybe to some people's chagrin. I think Matchbox 20, some of those bands in there, people kind of thumb their nose at. But 12 million sold worldwide, 7 million in the U.S. It was number one on the charts as an album. The singles Push was number 2. 3 a.m. was number 1. And they had a couple other singles. Real World charted number 1 on adult contemporary, which is kind of weird because I don't really think of that as an adult contemporary song. And then Back to Good also charted. So, but this album, I'll go back to my theme. Like, people having tough times with relationships do great albums. And Rob Thomas, it sounded like he got kicked to the curb, and he wasn't really accepting that too much, and or mentally he wasn't accepting it. So he wrote this batch of songs, and a lot of the songs are about a failed relationship. Matter of fact, a lot of controversy around Push, because you just literally read the lyrics and some people misinterpret it. And it's not about physical abuse, and it's not the male in the song doing the abuse. It's about pushing around mentally, and that's how he was feeling, that the person he was in the relationship was mentally abusive, or he was maybe they weren't, but he was taking it that way. So so if you listen to these, you could just see that all through that. One song that kind of stands out to me is a song called Real World, and that's probably been my favorite song on this album for a long, long time. And I'm going to go lyrics at some point tonight. This is my last album, so I'm going lyrics right here. So I'm not putting Rob Thomas in the Adam Duritz category or the Jason Isbell category, but he can turn the phrase sometimes. And so I want to share with you a lyric. It's about 3/4 of the way through Real World that I just always find amusing. So the song Real World is really about, I think, being a young person, and you go out into the world or the workforce, and you're really not the boss of you know, and you're at the bottom of the totem pole, and all you see is authority figures and all that. So, so here we go. Well, I wonder what it's like to be the head honcho. I wonder what I'd do if if they all did what I said. Well, I'd shout out, "We're out of this, man! Get me some more." But boy, don't make me want to change my tone. And that's interesting because from Rob Thomas's perspective, that's the way he viewed leadership. They were just people who told you, or management, So I've always thought that was a kind of snarky, funny couple of lines in a song. All right, so produced by Brendan O'Brien, who there's a couple other albums coming up that were Brendan O'Brien produced. This one kind of made him famous. Was one of the ones that made him famous. And kind of launched them. They didn't continue producing music. They did, like, I will say, 3.5 albums, and then there was a lot of Rob married a model and then had a solo career, and his solo stuff is good, but it doesn't sound necessarily like it's more pop than Matchbox 20. They're back together now and touring, and they did a couple albums in the past 7 or 8 years. So, but this one, I heard somebody one time that wasn't familiar with the album, and they were reviewing this album, which is another Analog Productions 45 RPM, and they said, "Man, this plays like a greatest hits." And there is a lot of hit songs on here, but I will say this: this is also, they cleaned up some of the production on this record, and these songs sound even better on this version. That's not always true with some of these audiophile records, but this one is definitely improved the sound of this album. All right, so Matchbox 20, give it a chance.
All right. I'm up next. And just so you know, I don't look at their list. So when I hear this stuff, it's new to me, just like it is you, because I kind of like it that way. But I also have a 1996 album. It was a very big year, especially in hip hop. There was a lot of big things happening in hip hop. But this is I've never given this record a full listen until about a month ago, because it was supposed to be on one of the previous shows, and then we moved it, and that's Beck's Odelay. And I don't know, it was incredible. I mean, I've heard so many different things. I swear I heard an alarm clock at some point in the songs. There's a little bit of everything. This was produced by Beck and the Dust Brothers, and Dust Brothers, you know, mostly probably from Paul's Boutique, which I also learned something about. That is, the Dust Brothers made all the music for that, and then the Beastie Boys sang over it. So it was already made, and then so I was surprised at how that was made. Also, they're also famous for sampling music. The Dust Brothers loved sampling, so much so when Tone Loc had his Wild thing, they decided, hey, we're gonna basically steal this Van Halen song, because they didn't ask for permission, and you knew it was Van Halen right from the beginning. And they settled out of court, and they paid Van Halen $180,000. But since they were huge into sampling, you got that with Paul's Boutique, and also in Beck, it was a lot of sampling. It was also Beck interpreting samples so that basically you didn't recognize the originals. But it is so eclectic. The album goes, it's everywhere. I mean, you have to listen to it with headphones. This is one that you turn it up, high audiophile system or headphones, and just pick up on all the little nuances on this album. Came out in 1986. It sold over 2 million copies and 5 million worldwide. Where it's at peaked at 54, which I was surprised, because Devil's Haircut chart positioned up to 14. The album peaked at 16 on the Billboard 200. And listening to this album, I was really amazed that it was made. And the reason why I say that is, if you bring it to the record company, I can just imagine them going, what the heck is this? But the good thing is Beck was changing labels, so they kind of competed for him for this album. So he somehow was able to he had final say on what was made. So if he didn't have that, I don't know if this record would have come out the way it did. But I heard I heard one song, can't remember the name of it, but it sounded like a George Harrison Beatles song. And then the next song, you hear sitar in a different song. And the sitar he bought in a local market like the day before. And now he's learning how to play the sitar, and it's in the record. The sampling is just, I don't even know how to explain this record, really, because I mean, you got 2 turntables and a microphone. It is just a great album to listen to. I don't know how I could ever memorize any of the lyrics, though, because some of them are just spotted in the song, into the songs. But it is a great listen, and now I'm going to buy it on vinyl.
It is. I just want to read something from where it's at, because Sean keeps saying like it's nothing like the music, but lyrically, what I loved about his earlier records, like, you know, anything off of Mellow Gold or even off of Odelay, a lot of it is just like ramblings, like shine your shoes with your microphone blues, her suits with your parachute fruits, passing the Dutchie from coast to coast, like my man Gary Wilson, I rock the most. But even up before that, the verses, pick yourself off the side of the road with your elevator bones and your whip flash tones, members only hypnotizers, move through the room like ambulance drivers. What?
Yeah, it's so.
But
It's
it's
I don't know how
awesome.
you make a record like that. It's so like pieced that I don't know how if what you were thinking. Were you thinking that when you made that record? You know what I mean? But it just came out to it just sounds
That's what
different
makes
and it's
Beck.
amazing.
That's what makes Beck such a great songwriter.
And every album he does sounds different from the one before.
Yep.
It's so crazy. But in that one, it blew my mind. And I do swear I heard an alarm clock somewhere in that thing.
Yeah, I think this is true. Every time you put on, like you get a new Beck or you listen to a Beck record for the first time, don't have any expectations because he will blow your mind. Like it will be something different, and it might be 180 degrees from what he was doing. You just got to go.
You just
on the
roll with
journey.
it, man. You take
Yeah.
the ride.
And this one definitely took me for a ride because I wasn't expecting it. I didn't know what I was expecting. And I found it amazing, but not definitely different. And it's just scattering. It's like your brain. I don't know. Is his brain that scattered that it's doing all these different things? And
I can't tell you
been around
I
since?
can't tell you Beck's first 3 records. That's for sure. It's all over the place.
I thought this was like his second record, but it's technically his fifth.
I don't know why I'm picturing this, but Sean getting ready for the show, I just see him listening to Beck and just reaching for those gummies and just popping them. I said, "Man, I can't take this."
Well, I was at work the other day because I listened to a couple weeks ago, but I was at work yesterday, and I got I did two turntables and a microphone where it's at. I'm walking around. But yeah, it's amazing.
Floyd, Paper Tiger is probably my favorite off of Sea Change. But here, Floyd, I want you to do this. I want you to pull out Sea Change. I want you to play Paper Tiger. And then what I want you to do is I want you to YouTube Serge Gainsbourg, and the album is called History of Melody Nelson. And I want you to listen to that, and you will see where Beck's influence is all over that song. Listen to it.
Wait a minute. Now the chat has been full all night of Floyd not being happy with all the. 90s.
I was just gonna say
And all of a
that.
sudden,
here you go.
You clearly did not miss the 90s because one of your
you
favorite
have
songs
Sea Change,
is a
all
Beck
the
song.
90s albums.
So Sea Change, Paper Tiger. Listen to Paper Tiger. Then I want you to YouTube Serge Gainsbourg. He's a French artist, musician, actor. He was a very unique individual. History of Melody Nelson is the album. The entire record. It probably will be one of my essentials. I absolutely love it. If you've never heard it, just give that a listen. But you'll see where the influence is on that.
Yeah, we need to do a GoFundMe for Floyd and get him some 90s albums.
Or see if we can get his memory back from the 90s because
he probably has like 100 of them.
Sea Change might have been later, but maybe it was like 2001, just past the 90s. Maybe we really did miss the 90s.
Whole decade missing from his life.
Skipped it.
I don't know why my camera, when I show up an album, it's moving all over the place. I don't know how to shut it off.
Because he had Mutations, which I think Mutations was 98, 99, I think 98-ish. He had Midnight Vultures, which was right there, borderline, which Midnight Vultures was kind of more of a party album. Favorite song on that's Deborah. But it's a very different, Beck record. And then Sea Change, I think, was early 2000s. I have it. I should know. I haven't listened to it in a long time. But
I was just on his website, and there's a hyperspace slip mat that I think I want. It's pretty cool. And a t-shirt with 2 record players and then a microphone underneath
2
it.
turntables and a microphone.
Yeah.
So, I used to go and watch he used to have, so my buddy, Brian LaBartran, used to, and I don't know if Brian still plays for Beck, but he was in Beck's band. And they used to open up for Beck, and they would open up as a band called Wounded Tiger. And Brian, would An amazing musician. He played piano, organs, you name it, guitar. He did a little bit of everything, but it did come out in 2002. That's what I thought. And the stuff that he would do, we would see him in these small, just dive bars in Silver Lake. And we always knew when the shows were because Brian would call me and my buddy, who was also a musician, and we saw like 4 or 5 of them, and they were kind of just like test shows, if you will, just kind of random appearances. Would kind of have some random people up there playing with him, but the noise, the music, the stuff, and just being right there in standing room, there are probably 150 to 200 people just in this small space, and you get to watch Beck that intimate, watching him chicken dance and move and just play some crazy riffs. Unbelievable. I mean, he's a great entertainer.
All right. So now we're at the next part of our show, where we do the top 5. So also after that, guys, is the Q&A. So get your questions ready or comments.
I also want to know what everybody wants for Record Store Day, Black Friday, and the Q&A portion.
There you go. So this week it's not me, and I still haven't figured out my list, but I do still have 2 weeks because we're not going to be on next week. But the top 5 this week, I got to remember what it was now. What was it again?
If you were stoned or drunk, you probably would have been listening to some good music. So we can't use that excuse.
Yeah, you just don't remember it, like listening to it, but you were listening to it.
It's Pearl
Jam.
Pearl Jam top 5.
Overrated.
Oh.
If anybody
Oh,
watched
darn
my
it.
interview, then you know my unpopular opinion is that Pearl Jam is overrated.
Fighting words.
Top Pearl Jam records.
Top 5.
I don't know. Sean, you always have to will you fix this? Whatever it's supposed to be.
He wants us on the sides.
Yeah, I don't.
He likes us on the sides.
I
Like I said,
that looks good.
yeah. There you go.
I like
That's
That's
the view. Because I can see my PowerPoint, and then to my right eye is Jake and his face. So.
Listen, I'm going to clarify before I get torn apart in the chat.
I
Pearl
already know
Jam.
my number 1. It should be number 1.
Pearl Jam is good. They have some good songs, but they are not as good as some people make them out to be.
Stacey, Hall of Famers. Hall of Famers.
Listen, they're not my jam. I don't get some of the songs. Like maybe
okay, though.
maybe it made way for mumble rap. It was mumble rock. If you have a toddler that needs to learn their vowels, there's a song that goes
Right.
I've been waiting to say those.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. If you really want your kids to just listen, we're going to have you decipher Morse code, and here is Yellow Ledbetter. I get it.
Gave the way to mumble rap. We'll just say that. Innovative.
Well, anyway,
away.
after she
Take it away, Scott.
Pearl Jam. Go ahead, Scott.
I feel like Stacey's being my wingman. I feel like I could really get this top 5 wrong, and everybody's going to focus on Stacey. So here we go. Let's do it. And first of all, let me give you my historical listener profile for Pearl Jam. All right. So in 1991, I was 26 years old. I was near the end of my military service, and I was in Germany when 10 came out. So I was not in a fraternity. I was not in high school. I was not any of that. So I think there is a certain period of your life that always your judgment around that period of your life is going to be a little bit different. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. It's just going to be different because there's a inherent bias that gets introduced with what you think about music around those periods. So anyway, I am just take it as it comes with Pearl Jam. So here we go. The top 5. Number 5. Pearl Jam self-titled. And I will tell you that I listened to this album like 4 times to make sure I actually like it as much as I do. And I didn't think it was going to be in the running, but we'll come back to this album in a bit. I don't want to say something because I want to save it, but it's probably the most straight ahead rock record they did since 10. It was loud and aggressive. It was a hard rock album. Life Wasted, Worldwide Suicide, Severed Hand, and my favorite song on the album is Unemployable. I really like that song. Big Wave, Army Reserve, just good. It's solid, especially toward the top of the records. Really solid. Produced by Adam Casper, and I looked up Adam, and in general, I don't tend to like albums that he produced. Well, I would say not like that. They're not my favorite albums. Like he did Down on the Upside of Soundgarden, and that's not my favorite Soundgarden. He did a couple Foo Fighter records, and he did the Eddie Vedder Into the Wild and ukulele song. So obviously connected to the band, but I don't know how many albums he produced, but this is the only one I found for Pearl Jam. Good record. Probably not any really big. There were no big hits off of this, but it's a good record. All right, this one's probably going to make people go, "What?" But I really like Dark Matter.
What?
Yeah, and you were the person I was thinking of when I said that. It's just a solid record. Really love Wreckage and Won't Tell. Just really like this record. Really like it. So that is one of probably a few surprises.
I liked it better after I listened to it
Lyle
the third
is-
time.
Lyle is probably yelling at his screen right now.
He doesn't
Just
like
in
this.
pain.
Maybe I should listen to this one. Maybe I'll like this one.
Yeah, it's I will say it's a little more
He
accessible.
goes, well done.
It's a little more accessible. Less mumbling, if you will, in it. And I'm opposite. See, a lot of people liked Gigaton, and I thought that was a turd.
I
did
agree with
not
you there.
like Gigaton.
I thought Gigaton was a huge turd.
Yeah, and people kind of said, "Oh, they're back," and I'm like, I like Dark Matter better. All right, number 3, we're gonna go Versus, and all we got to do on Versus is just go Animal, Daughter, Glorified G, and Dissident. Great.
The whole album, Scott. 3,
3.
1.
Nope, not one. Not one. Okay. Lau says that Gigaton was the worst album. I'm with you there, Lau.
Wow.
Now you're simply wrong.
God, I mean,
Okay, here we go. This is where there's 2 more things coming that you guys will not believe. You'll think I'm insane.
Vitology's coming soon.
My number 2
Oh my
favorite Pearl Jam is Backspacer. Love Backspacer.
what are we
Love it.
doing?
We are. I am being honest with myself. I love.
Oh, Gonzo left.
I'm here.
What?
I'm here. I'm just getting the clarity back.
Okay,
Mental breakdown.
I. This is probably the Pearl Jam album that I like the best on the first listen. When I got this brand new when it was released, I just thought this is it. Got Some, The Fixer. The Fixer was the first single. Just Breathe, Amongst the Waves, Force of Nature. I love the vibe on this record. It is a Brendan O'Brien produced record. Brendan did a lot of their records, and very good. All right, so and it's weird because I do see either people put this album near the top of their list or they put it near the bottom. And I'll be honest, I saw it near the bottom on people's list more than I saw it near the top. But for me, it's to the top. Here's the next one. Are you doing it? No, I'm doing it because this is the way I feel. Okay, number 1 album,
Number 1.
Vitology. And this one was not that hard for me. Besides The Last Exit, Spin the Black Circle, Not For You, it contains my two favorite Pearl Jam songs, Corduroy, which is my favorite Pearl Jam song, and Better Man. So my number one, did you hear him? My number one is Vitology. He went to get something. So I don't think the fact that Vitology is number one is as surprising as the okay, kick him, Sean. My number two being Backspacer. I think that's a bigger surprise.
I am surprised there's no 10 on the list.
All right. That was the third thing that people will be surprised. So
Scott has never liked 10.
honorable mention, and I will say this was kind of close. I kept going No Code Yield, and there was like 4 albums I was trying to fit into 2 slots on the top 5. Those are good albums. 10 is not a good record. I will say Jeremy is a terrific song. I do like Porch. I think Porch is a decent song. I mean, the songs are decent, but this might be one of the worst mixed albums in the history of popular albums. It sounds terrible, terrible. Like all that echo and reverb and what the heck? Like, I thought that we were done with hair bands. Why do we have that on a grunge album?
Was 91. I mean, it was, we were kind of getting out of that.
Yeah. And even,
and here's the other thing. Hold up. Here's a question though, right? Because we have discussed this. I think I've even talked to Lyle about this too, is that, and I've even talked to high school buddies of mine. We always talk about this. This is something that always comes up about 10. And the question is always, does 10, 34 years, from its release, 34 years, does it still hold water? Does it still carry its weight the way it did when it just busted out in the scene in 1991? I don't know, but I still think it's within my top 5. I think the Return of the Rentals is definitely number 1 on Pearl Jam's top 5. I think it takes Vitology.
I just never did like the record. Like I liked the song when it came out. I liked Jeremy, but if you listen to it, just listen. And maybe I don't want to ruin it for those of you who love it. 13 million people bought it. There is a small percentage of people that feel the way I do about the record. They don't. I mean, they appreciate it because they introduced them to Pearl Jam, but it's not one of their favorite Pearl Jam records. I just don't think, to me, it holds up.
So I still listen to 10. I still jam out to it, but the jam out, if you will, it's more of a sentimental jam out, because as soon as Even Flow comes on, or Alive, or Jeremy, like I remember what I was doing when I first heard those songs. So for me, it is a sentimental attachment. But here's what I'm going to say, even though I've thrown a just hissy fit. I will say what I respect about the top 5 here, Scott, is that I think what you've done is some of the Pearl Jam aficionados that are in here, some might be blasphemy, but for somebody coming in that might say, I've listened to a couple of Pearl Jam records, some of the earlier ones, and it's pretty good. What I like about this top 5, even though my order is completely different, and I respect your order, is that I think this will get people to sit back and say, you know what? I haven't listened to a damn Pearl Jam record in a while. And maybe these later records are something that I should give a little attention to, because I'm going to be the first right here to tell you 10 versus Vitology and No Code. That's, but I really stayed with their first 3. And then I slowly, even though I still love them, I slowly kind of went my way because I just couldn't, I don't know, I wasn't along for the ride when they started kind of going, because it also felt like they were kind of going in a kind of punk, direction where they just went away from grunge and they went somewhere which, it wasn't my reality. But what I do enjoy about this, though, is that I think maybe maybe I should go back and give some of these newer records, because look, I don't have Dark Matter. I didn't buy Dark Matter.
Yeah, it's a good record. I mean, it all depends on, I think Pearl Jam might come in 3 different flavors if I had to say, but
Yeah.
I would encourage everyone. It's been such a learning experience to do these top 5s because I do take them seriously. I listen to these albums, and when I get down, I'm listening to them multiple times, and I am always surprised about where I end up. Like I would, if you would have asked me when we assigned this last week, Avocado wouldn't have been on the list. It wouldn't even been on it. But I kept listening to it. I was like, my God, this is a great record. This is the closest thing to 10, except for the production is cleaned
You
up.
think it's better?
Yeah, I think it's better. And I would encourage everybody to you can play along at home. Go pull these things out, or if you got Spotify or whatever, listen to them. And I guarantee you will not feel the same. So I try to be true to the experience that I put myself through. And just when I get down in this decision time, they go on a piece of paper. They're not written in stone, but they're pretty close to, like, based on what I just did. That's the way I feel. What made me a Pearl Jam fan was Versus. That's when I said, oh, these guys are for real.
Yeah. That's so Versus is my number 1. Versus is my number 1. I think 10 is probably my number 2. I would probably put Vitology at number 3. Vitology and 10 could easily go both ways. Versus has always been my number 1. I just, it's just a hard punch, great sophomore effort. It was different from 10, and I mean when it just jumps into it, you're on a damn roller coaster, just ready to go, like you're ready to get mad.
I was gonna make a Pearl Jam list. Mine would be like Jake's.
Yeah. Well,
I have a question for Scott, though.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just wondering, when you're making these lists and you're listening to the albums, what are you listening for? What are you like? What makes the number 1? Like, what are you looking for in an album, or what jumps out at you that can make something go from number 3 to number 1?
Okay, that's a great question. So, the first go, when I have a very broad base, like, I started with with Pearl Jam, I could just do them all. And, I'm doing what we all do. I'm cleaning records, I'm sleeving records, and it's on. So some of it is, does it make me pay attention more than just passive listening? Do I look over to see what's the name of this song? And then I do the deeper dive. So like today, there was albums where I'm looking at the lyrics and I'm really listening to the sonics of the record. And I will say No Code and Yield are up there. In my opinion, those are the 2 best produced albums. They sound absolutely beautiful.
I think No Code, bar none, wins the award for like best album design, as far as the cover, all the contents, the sleeve, everything about it is just awesome. The packaging, unbelievable. The album, I really want to cuss on it. The album, just crap.
Yeah, it can't. It was the first one out because I had 7, and I put it out, and then I was really between Yield and really Dark Matter, and I ended up slotting Dark Matter at 4th. But I mean, Yield could have been on there. I have a lot of respect for that record. It sounds good. There's some good songs, but 5 is 5. I can't put 6 on a 5. Well, I'm not Chris Patterson. I mean, if Chris is here, he could probably fit every
Chris
Pearl
can
Jam
fit
record into
17
the top.
records.
Yeah.
17 records into one album.
So, and I didn't do the Vetter solo, although I like his last solo record. But anyway, that's it. And I once I did it, I was like, oh my God, there's going to be a lot of people disagreeing with this one.
I don't know. Let's ask the chat. Chat, do we still think Van Halen top 5 debacle is still number 1, or is Pearl Jam? I'm still a Van Halen because I do appreciate, even though, of course, y'all always know me. Scott and I have agreed actually on a few of the top 5s. We've actually been spot on. We were spot on with Springsteen. We were pretty much spot on, I think, with Rolling Stones.
Mm-hmm.
Close with Neil Young. Van Halen, no, we were nowhere. Nowhere. But you know what this has done? This makes me want to grab the Pearl Jam records that I do have that I haven't sold. I might talk with Lyle because Lyle is a diehard Pearl Jam fanatic. He bought some of my OG Pearl Jam stuff. And he did make a comment. Riot Act was a record that was forgotten. Nobody mentioned binaural. That got, nowhere, right? But it just makes you think how many records they came out with and how many albums I actually didn't listen to past their first 3. I bought Yield when it came out. I bought No Code when it came out, and I gave Yield a chance. And I love Lowlight on it. I think that's a great song, and I think Jeff Emmett wrote that one. But, I was a 10 versus Vitology guy through and through. And
Yeah,
I think this
I
top
lost
5
Pearl Jam after Vitology.
Yeah. It's going to make me listen to them.
Yeah, you should. I would say this, after a band gets this many albums and a lot of those other albums, a couple songs on a playlist will probably do you. I don't know that you need to have them. I will say Binaural was by far my least favorite.
It was.
That and Gigaton I didn't really like. I'm indifferent on Riot Act. I don't really know how to take that album, to be honest. I don't know. I don't feel strongly enough to say it's good or bad. It's a different kind of sound.
I think their later records, really what you could have done is you just could have been like, look, guys, they just had to sit down with the band and said, listen, this is what we're going to do. We had a good 3-album run. Actually, we could probably throw in No Code, put in a 4 there. But I think all these albums, let's just go ahead and take the best 2 songs. Let's just do a greatest hits package. I would have been good with that.
Well, they did. They did Rearview Mirror too. So they have a greatest hits and they have a second version. I haven't really paid attention to what tracks are on that. They probably didn't pick the ones I would have picked. But I will say this to our friend Stacey. Stacey, and I'll challenge everyone. I'll challenge the Pearl Jam fans. Stacey, I think you would like Backspacer the best.
Okay.
Based on what I know about what you like, I think it's very accessible. Probably the most. It's hard to say Pearl Jam and pop, but it has more pop sensibility to it.
Stacy's going to come back and say, Scott, I love Gigaton.
I think she would rush to turn her Sirius or Spotify off if she heard Gigaton. But there's not one hook in that album. The whole album, Gigaton, doesn't have a hook.
So it's just giga crap?
I was devastated. But
Gigaturd.
Dark Matter is the other one. I think we get stuck on these, not giving these later albums by groups a fair chance. I will admit, sometimes the groups are pumping out stuff that doesn't measure up, but a lot of times, I think in Pearl Jam's case, I think they are going in the studio trying to make a good record.
But that's what I love about Eddie Vedder and Company, right? Is that you still have to respect the fact that these guys, still, and not just Pearl Jam, but a lot of these bands that still go in just with that creative ability to sit down and, produce music. I sit here and I criticize some albums, but then I sit and I look and I'm like, well, who the hell am I to really sit down and do that when it's like being a musician is a hard gig.
Yeah.
Being a writer is a hard gig. Yeah, I can play guitar, but I'm a beginner, right? Like I can't bust out these tasty riffs. Like it's a, so even though, I come in and I have my hissy fits on some records and, maybe you're a little negative on some, at the end of the day, I still respect the hell out of the artists that get out there and do it and put the music out, because if it's not for them, music's what makes us happy, what gives us joy. And even when we don't like the records, we'll still go see them live, damn it. We'll still go to a concert and pay hundreds of dollars to go out there and belt those tunes, right? So Eddie, if you're watching, I love you.
All right. So put your comments in the chat, guys. If you have any other questions for why this just happened, just go ask them. So this is a questionnaire answers. If you have any questions for any of us, or you just want to say you're wrong, you can do that too. But put them in the chat. There's a little bit of delay, so we'll chat amongst ourselves, and then as any questions come up, we'll answer them.
What is your top 5 going to be, Sean?
I have what should it be? That's the
Mitch Miller.
It's not going to be Mitch Miller.
All right, Sean, just to be clear, Sean, this will put you on the clock and you will have an extra week
Diorama.
because we're not going to have a show next week. So tick, 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 tick.
I'm going to say Silverchair Frog Stomp is probably that would be my mention. When I get to it, Frog Stomp will be mine.
Yeah, somebody else is going to have to put it on the list because I'm not a Silverchair fan either.
Frog Stomp, I dig. I mean, for a bunch of teenagers to produce what they did, props. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's what I love about this. That's I think why, we all kind of got together and love having you all in here and being involved. I love hearing the opinions because we all joke about it, right? Right? We all know what opinions are.
Yeah.
But, it gives us an opportunity to engage in communication and talk about the records we like, agree on the records we like, disagree, whether we're laughing about it or mad about it. Like, what a great format, right? To be able to do that.
Yeah, it's all fun. And I was saying that I think in our Discord server we were having some fun before the show tonight, and I was just like, I just love people that love music. I don't care what you like, I can maybe hate what you like, but people that I always think people that like music, there's something about life that they get that other people don't get. I feel sorry for people who don't like music because I can be in a bad mood and I can put some music on and I just immediately changes how I feel. So
Scott, that's something I appreciate about you, brother. Is that and my wife is the same way, which I always am like, I don't know how you do it, but I appreciate the fact that you could sit down and you could listen through a band's catalog of records and sit through all the crappy ones and listen to them from start to finish. I have, as a former actor, a failed actor, mind you, I was very weird with film. If I went to a movie theater, I was always this way. If I sat down in a movie theater and I was not grabbed within 5 minutes, I would get up and leave. So that first 5 to 10 minutes, like if I'm not grabbed, it's just something with my crazy, wacky, high forehead, big ass brain that if I'm not grabbed, like I'm up and gone. And sometimes it's like that with music too. So the ability to sit and go through that, So sometimes I wish I had it. Like when I did my first top 5, like I really was like, all right, I really want to sit down and really just kind of process it. And I did good for the most part. But I mean, when you're pulling several albums, you know, I will applaud you for that, because chat, those that are here, right? It's not, it takes time. It's time consuming to listen to it, to take notes,
It's
and then
good
get yelled at by this
to
guy.
be doing something different. I mean, something else too. You know, I am bad about skipping songs I don't like. I'll let 30 seconds play and I'll go. So the fact that I'm doing something else, it kind of gets me into it, and I do make little notes about like, oh, listen to that song again. So it's fun. If you have the time, I am retired, so I do have time. But it's a fun thing, and I encourage everybody to, if you got the time, go do the Pearl Jam and give me your over in Discord. Give us your list, whether it's Tom Petty or Springsteen. I'd love to hear it. I love looking at people's lists.
I was thinking about this, right? So what do y'all think? What do you think about the chat getting homework? Being like, you know what? We want to know what you think. We want to hear what your top 5 of blah would be. That would interest me. I would love to hear everybody's thoughts. Stacey needs to find
Even
a
with
7
with our 500 records, I mean, put on Beck. Tell us what you think.
God, such a great record.
You know, and maybe you hate it. Maybe your mind will be blown and like, wow, what is this? And just, it's not an easy one to sing along with. That's for sure.
I will give Stacey some credit. I think she's open minded. That's all you can ask. Is like, it's easy to be dismissive, and I don't know, when you get to a certain age, you don't care what people think about your music choices. That's really a great place to be. Just take it in, and if it's good, it's good. And just I told Jake when I was listening, I said, there's something about, you can't make people like it. You can encourage them to sit down, listen to it, and give them a fair chance. But the music's got to strike you almost in a physical way sometimes, or send your mind to a place. But the thing you can do is take the time and be open minded about it. I mean, Stacey just showed that she had Who's Next, one of the greatest '70s albums ever, and
she had some '70s knowledge there, Floyd.
I think that people would be, I think Floyd would be very surprised if you looked at my Discogs and saw my entire collection, what the span is. I mean, I've got jazz, I've got country, I've got pop, I've got hard rock, I've got classic rock. Like I have a very large range. I just like music, and I like music that I like, and I don't care what decade it's from.
What would surprise us that would be on your Discogs?
I mean, I used to say 9 Inch Nails, but everybody knows I like 9 Inch Nails now. So that isn't really a big surprise. Maybe
more new 9 Inch Nails, or are you more like old school, like Pretty Hate Machine?
I like Pretty Hate Machine, but more with teeth. Okay. 9 Inch Nails.
Okay.
But I like the older stuff. I just like more of the hits from the older stuff. Not everything on the older
Pretty
stuff.
Hate Machine is probably still my number 1. I mean, the Downward Spiral is probably like his opus, right? But I still think Pretty Hate Machine, I still think nothing beats it. But Stacey, you know what? I would love you to text me and say, Jake, listen to this 9 Inch Nails record, because I tell you, I haven't listened to a lot of Trent Reznor in a long time. I pretty much, after Downward Spiral, oh gosh, what was the album? What was the album he did after that? I bought it, and that one was good, and I can't even remember it. So I think I really listened to his first 4 records. I would be interested. Tell me, hey, give this a listen. I'll definitely do it. I wanted to ask y'all and the chat, anything that you've listened to lately that has moved you? Like moved you to tears, song that has made you just, happy tears, sad tears. I listened to Joe Cocker's You Are So Beautiful.
That is,
and I cried my ass off.
Yes.
Don't know why,
Yeah.
But sometimes I've heard that song my whole life. I mean, I don't know, made me think of my mom, made me think of my wife. But I was driving to work one day, and of course, maybe it's because I was stressed at work. But heard that song a million times, and for whatever, I just heard it as I was leaving the Chick-fil-A drive-through to work, and it came on, and I just had a good day. But it, that was my song.
All right.
Anybody,
So we
Kat?
Somebody asked our opinions on Hanson, and I just want to make sure that question was like Mbop Hanson. That was the person. Also,
I
the
think,
album.
I think
I
I'm
would-
getting set up here.
Okay. The
Uh,
album I would tell you to listen to, Jake, is Hesitation Marks.
Say that again.
The Nine Inch Nails album I would tell you to listen to is Hesitation Marks.
Got
That's the one that like really was like got me to listen to more of them. So I'd already listened to a few songs. My ex-husband was a huge fan. So I'd already listened to a few songs and like what he would play. But then I heard Hesitation Marks and I was like, okay, I want to hear more. And that's
I
when
like
I
that.
started to get into it.
Okay. So I'm going to own up. That was my wife that asked about Hanson because she knows there's a couple Hanson songs. So I'm going to clarify. It's not Bop. That is one of the most irritating pieces of pop crap ever.
Still
2000
going.
and-
Still slaying.
2007, they did an album called The Walk, which was more like alternative rock. They were getting away, they were grown up now. On that record, there's a song called Georgia, which is very good, and it's sung by, I don't know him, but that's the higher pitch guy. But the other brother who didn't sing as much, there's a song on there called Watch Over Me, and that's one of my favorite songs ever. It's like post-grunge alternative sounding song. And yes, on my favorite songs playlist, I do have a Hanson song.
I like that. This is the stuff I like. We're digging deep, y'all. All right.
Okay. I'm reading the lyrics to Mbop, and these kids were way too young to sing this song.
Floyd, my grandmother, loved that George Jones song. And every time I even read the title, it makes me think of her just yelling that out. That and what was it? Rose-colored glasses. There was a song called "I Believe in Love." It was one of her favorite country songs that my cousin played at his wedding. Oh gosh, my aunt was just.
Yeah, so the chat is chiming in. They've got a few there. Cheryl with the Hooters beat up guitar. I see Floyd has George Jones.
Yep.
He stopped loving her today.
He stopped loving her today.
That's
I'm,
not too
I'm
bad.
waiting for someone to say "Honey" by Bobby Goldsboro.
You should have listened to my grandmother sing it. Oh.
The Living Years.
Living
Yeah, there you go.
Years.
In My Life is one of those other ones that can bring.
Every-
Years.
So Sean, Happy Christmas, the war is over. Yeah, that one got me last year. Don't know why, just listen to it. Got me. But I will tell you this. Simply having a wonderful Christmas time will never drive me to tears. Ever.
It's
Just to the loony bin.
all right. So yeah, that's Lennon versus McCartney. Simply having a wonderful Christmas time, and the war is over. Which
The
one?
war,
Is
the war is
Where's-
over 100 times
Where's
out of 100.
Johnny? Where is Johnny on this?
It's like
Did George
Johnny's
Harrison
asleep.
4 a.m.
song?
yeah, it's 4 a.m.
It's 4 a.m. He's
Well,
up.
Again, the Living Years. Yeah, I mean, that's a song. If it's on and you're not paying attention to it, you're fine. But if you sit there and actually listen to it, it can be tough emotionally. What a great song by Mike and the Mechanics. I think
Oh, I
that's
know.
Paul Carrick on vocals. Paul Carrick, who most people might not even know, but he's sung a lot of songs that you like. I guarantee you.
Oh yeah.
Tempted being one of them. By Squeeze. So,
Love that song.
yeah, Sinead O'Connor. So I do want to thank Stacey is our first repeat guest panelist. We appreciate you making the time for us.
Thank
I
you.
know
Guys.
for the people on the West Coast, it's like rush home from work and, or get off of work and hop on. So thank you, Stacey. And thank you for, bringing some diversity. It was a good chat thread on the Justin Timberlake, but I think we're all like, we'd like to kick that damn thing out of here. But you know what? Nope, it's right. So
I agree with it
yeah,
because that album was everywhere.
it was,
You know?
and it's for a pop record. I'm not into pop. It's good. It is really good. Pop well done. There's nothing wrong
Yeah,
with
I
that.
may not look. I was not a fan of what NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, all the boy bands, right? But I give him so much props because he is a talented individual.
Yes, he
The,
is.
the guy is talented. I mean, if you don't, this goes all the way back to Star Search when he was singing country songs as a kid, dressed up in attire.
Yep.
Ed McMahon, like he had a good country voice.
So again, thanks, Stacey.
Justified his first one.
Yeah, his first one. Stacey, be curating your next 3 for the next invitation.
I already have one because I know there's one more Taylor that I need to bring. It's just one more. It's the only other one I would bring. And I think it's her best album. So
only one more Taylor. Oh, there's some probably
I-
Taylor fans that'll say, what? She should have 3 or 4 in the top 500.
I don't know. I don't want to overwhelm the top 500 with Taylor.
What's the worst Taylor?
What's the worst Taylor? You don't want to ask me that because Taylor fans are going to hate me. Debut. I'm not a fan of
Debut is
country.
Mhm.
It's just because it's country and she's not country. She was born in Pennsylvania. I don't like the twang. It's not true. It doesn't seem
real.
natural.
Yeah.
I can't wait for her to redo it. She already recorded it, so I can't wait for her to release Taylor's version of Debut. I think that's going to be really good. The songs are great. I just can't stand listening to it. It's a lot better than it was like 2 years ago. I listened to it more, but I would say that's the worst album.
Is she taking the country out of the, or is she staying with the country?
Oh, I hope there's no twang.
There's nothing
We'll
like
see.
a good pedal steel guitar.
I think it will still be, the music will still be more country-ish, but I think that her voice won't be as twangy.
Yeah,
I think mine was,
I hope she does deviate a little bit. She's been pretty true. I mean, her vocal is different now. On that one, I hope she does put some different spin on that record. That would be interesting to hear.
Yeah, because her voice was she was so young when she did that. Her voice wasn't even matured.
Yeah.
So I think that the re-release of it is really gonna make that album grow.
So is 89 her best one? Is 1989 her best record?
It's not her best album.
It's not. You don't think?
No.
Stacey
No,
just crushed
I
me.
think that there are better
Taylor
albums
Swift.
lyrically. There are better albums that flow better. The next one I'm bringing, could be a Chris situation where it's like a 2-in-1. But
No, I like so. What is your number one? What's your number one Tay-Tay?
She can't tell
Folklore.
you the secret.
Well, the management of 3 Men on the Record, we had an executive meeting and we probably overreacted as people do in crisis. And we've determined going forward, not only can you not combine 2 records into one, if you've got a 2 LP set, you must break it into 2 selections. So, you could thank Rush Records for that little gem of overregulation, but I'm
December 4th, he's coming in with a 4-1 or
yeah,
4-1.
knows Folklore and Evermore. They're the stories in. So those are the 2 albums that she released that aren't supposed to be autobiographical. And the stories, the people in them, those 2 albums are supposed to be about the same stories. And if you listen to the songs in a certain order from each album, it's supposed to tell the story. So it's kind of like a twofer. But yeah, I think everybody that is a Swiftie has a different opinion on what her best album is. And it really depends. Do you want her best pop album musically? Do you want her best lyrical album? And for me, Folklore is that overall for me because of the kind of music that I like.
Okay,
Yeah.
Stacey, don't give everything away. So, but I am going to assign. I don't know if we'll ever lay this on a guest panelist, but be prepared.
You can have me do a
I
top
think we
5.
might have a guest top
Yeah,
5
I like that.
as we get more through it. Like you can come on in, you can take that. I mean, you'll always have the audience reception of the Van Halen, so you can pretty much do anything, and nobody will.
I can do it unbiased too. I
It
won't.
won't be a Pearl Jam
Well,
situation.
and I'll
Stacey, like,
enjoy listening
don't
to 12-hour albums over and over again.
listen. You can do it, because at the end of the day, don't worry. Whatever is said, it's not your fault. We'll just blame Scott.
I'll take it. I will have a lot of sympathy for Stacey. So we do have. Let's talk about what's coming up. We have some exciting guests lined up. Some repeat people. So next week we do have Chris Patterson from Rush
The
Records.
next show, December
Back.
4th, right?
Not next week. I'm sorry. We are going to take the holiday off, and then we will be back on December 4th with Rush Records. December 11th, we've got a kind of unique one. Cap City Pop will join
right.
3 Men on the Record, and
Excited.
they will broaden our worldview of music a little bit. So really excited to have them on. They're
Excited.
such good people. I bought my first Japanese language record the other day from them. I just totally had them recommend it, and I said, okay, I'll buy it. And I haven't listened to it yet, but I look forward to it.
I did the same thing, Scott.
Just I don't know.
I was just
Tell me
like, I
something good.
trust your judgment.
Yeah. And then December 18th is up and there's some people I can't talk about we're excited about, but they have not yet signed the NDA. Until they sign the NDA, we don't release their names. But we've got a couple folks from the Whatnot community that you guys won't be surprised, but we'll sprinkle them in, and then we'll also have some of the reoccurring. I can say this: we're trying to get Johnny back in December sometime. I mean, in January sometime. It's looking like that's going to happen. But I want to thank the community. Like everybody I've asked to do it has agreed, or Jake asked. We're really appreciative that you guys are joining us over here, and we're just at the beginning of this. We're trying to create something that's pretty strong. I think there's a strong bond. There's a group of us that have always kind of been together on the app, and it's great to have the community come together here on 3 Men.
The one rule I have is they gotta love music. That's what I expect from people I buy from, and you have to love music to be with us, right? You're really gonna have that love. Soundtracks or comps coming soon, definitely. When?
Probably
I don't know if we
soundtracks
do.
before comps. I think we'll probably do that first.
Yeah, because I know Sean's going to do his top 5 in 2 weeks.
Yeah, and then Jake's talking about doing
And
James
my
Bond.
top 5 will be the top 5 James Bond songs of all time.
Floyd, I think that the Gateway Taylor is folklore. It's more like folky indie. So if you want to start there, you can start there. If you want to start real poppy, do 1989.
Or countryish.
Countryish, do debut, Fearless, or Speak
Debut,
Now.
yeah, not solo. Debut.
Scott, whenever you're ready to do the shootout with your Mo-Fi and the master sound, you just let me know, baby.
I think Sean should do the top 5 Dave Matthews Band records.
Oh God.
You guys are making it hard. We're gonna let Sean pick, but
you
I
guys
did.
give me suggestions because it seems like mine are like, who cares what best Linda Ronstadt album there is? I care, but would
Well,
you?
I mean, you toss this out. I want you to do what you want to do, but I happen to know Billy Joel real well. Do you want to know Bill? There's a lot of Billy Joel fans. I think that he's like a universally
Billy
appreciated.
Joel. Yeah, I'll do Billy Joel.
You could do William Martin Joel.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay, so the clock tick, 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 tick,
Billy
tick.
Joel.
Got 2 weeks, Sean.
Billy Joel.
Billy Joel's a good one.
And it's a
Neil
fun, and
before
and I
Joel.
love them all. How do you put them in order?
Yeah,
I'm
well,
gonna have to do
welcome
that with
to my
Taylor
world,
Swift, so
Sean.
you can do that with Billy Joel.
Yeah, there's so many.
Sean,
great
listen, it's
albums.
it's going to be good. You know why? You know why?
Because you can't
It
go
will
wrong.
beat Van Halen. You can't.
I mean, if I chose one over the
God
other,
set
being
the
1 and
bar.
2, it's not that big a deal because they're that close.
Well, I mean,
know?
just look at how Jake jacked up the yacht rock. I mean, come on, the pressure's not really on. You can pretty much
That
do
is true.
anything.
Yacht Rock was hard. I knew Scott, man, was just waiting in the catacombs.
The
I mean,
total.
I got torched. It was hard because Scott agreed with me. When you talk about Yacht Rock, it's hard to put it in album content because for the most part, a lot of it's just singles. You might have a couple of songs on a record that you always hear on the radio that's within that category. So I welcomed the challenge, but I told him, I'm like, it's damn tough because there's so many songs that like would be on my list, like a number one, but I wouldn't take the album because maybe the album just wasn't good. But there were 2 songs that were. So it was tough. And I knew I was going to get a lot of flack on Asia.
I agree that when you look at, like, I have a pretty extensive yacht rock best of playlist. It has like 128 songs. When I looked through there, when you were getting ready, it was very hard to find a good album.
I'm telling you, it is tough. You probably get a couple of songs.
Top 10 ska. Yeah,
Just remember, Toto is yacht rock.
No, okay, let's tell this story because I think people will find it interesting. Jake, because, you know, I challenge him. You know, is Toto really yacht rock? I mean, I'll give you Africa's a yacht rock song. So what does he do? The first 2-3 days back at work, I get these videos. Listen to what's playing on, and it's just it's Toto playing. He goes
99 yacht rock
on the yacht rock channel. And after the third one, I said, "Come on, Jake, you're on the Toto channel, and you're just gaslighting me. All these songs are not on the yacht rock." He swears it was a yacht rock curation he was listening to. So.
I walk into the office and I go, "Alexa, yacht rock, please." And then she's playing the songs of yacht rock.
So I got 3 videos from Jake that week trying to prove that Toto. He did send me one, and I forget. It was Make Believe, I think he was. I was like, okay, I'll give you that one's yacht rock too. So
99 also. 99 is very yacht rocky.
Okay, Jake.
So you named 3 songs, but does that make them all yacht rock?
So there was I can't even remember the song, but there was one Toto song that came on, and I'm like, all right, Scott, like I could put this in kind of the arena rock. Because here's the thing. Toto is a yacht rock band. They played on many yacht rock albums. And I mean, they're studio musicians. They're amazing musicians. They can play anything, but they were a part of a sound of the 70s into the early 80s. So I think at their core, they were that California sound during that time.
This yacht rock thing, isn't he?
But over time, yes, I think they knew kind of how to turn it on. So I can kind of put them in both categories. I could say that, yes, Toto is the essence of yacht rock because of the sound, because they were studio musicians and played on those albums. So they were a part of the sound, right? But they could also be an arena rock band.
Comp here with yacht rock songs. And do you know what song number 2, who sings it?
It's Africa though, right, Stacey?
It is Africa.
Africa is.
How many other yacht rock songs are Toto?
No, and I will concede.
Only one.
Apparently, my wife is user MV2DG4MNWX3X.
Happy wife, happy life. I think she wants you to do a top 5 Billy Joel. I think she would enjoy you playing those records.
Rosanna. She says Rosanna's yacht rock.
Rosanna is yacht rock.
Yeah.
I think that's borderline, but I agree. Hold the Line, I'll Supply the Love, Afraid of Love.
Hold the Line is solid, dude. Yeah. Solid arena rock, big time.
Yeah. So I will concede. We like to have a lot of fun, but they definitely they have a foot in both worlds. I think just depending on the song. So
I just do that because I love just yanking that chord.
You know what we need is like a guest panel that's the judge with a gavel and both these things,
like a Judge Judy or something,
like a restraining order against the mention of the rentals ever again, with a gavel, make it official.
Well, I really don't want to judge on this one because I'm pretty sure I'll probably lose, but I'll go down fighting. So,
All
all right. So,
I can do this.
did you boot him or just hide him?
I'm here in the catacombs.
So, all right. Let me think. I think we've covered everything I can. Just either on Discord or Instagram. Stay tuned. Once we get those NDAs signed, we'll make more announcements. We're trying to solidify the schedule through January, if we can. We'll be off for 2 weeks on the Christmas holidays. So between now and end of January, we're out 3 weeks. But we'll be back. I was wondering about who user M2DG. I was like, man, did they workshop that username? And I mean. So it's wasn't it Mrs. Shark?
It is, but I think just when she entered into the chat, she didn't select her name or something. I don't know. But
I like her musical taste. She seems to be spot on.
She remembers lyrics like Genesis. I mean, I'll put a Genesis album on and I have no idea these, and she'll be singing along. I mean, she just knows her music. She should be doing the show and me sitting out, actually, probably. But she has a tremendous knowledge for music, and now she's in the Jason Isbell world right now. I need to get her another CD because she keeps playing that one over and over again.
Has she got Weather Vanes yet?
No, I mean, I have the record, but she's been listening to. So she decided to not renew her Sirius, and now she does CD roulette, where she has a box of CDs behind the seat, and she grabs it, and that's what she listens to. And
oh wow,
so that's what she's been really going back into the CDs and waiting. And of course, every day Sirius contacts her for a new deal. And
yeah,
listen, the second somebody reaches out to me and says, "Hey, buy 10 CDs for a penny," dude, I'm in.
Okay.
I'm back.
All right, so we're gonna wrap.
I saw a great meme the other day about the Columbia House.
I miss those days, man.
Somebody had taken all the ICE agent photos and they had put the Columbia House logo and it said they were serious about that. I think it's all a lot of us of a certain age. That's how we initially built our little mini collection.
Gosh, man, I
wish I got the records instead. I mean,
I wish they would do records now. I'll take 10 records for a penny.
I'll
pay $1.
Ride the Lightnings,
yeah, and then you need that first record they send, Mitch Miller, $100, and you're like, what?
Okay, if you could take a time machine to, I don't know, and go back to Columbia House, what record would you order, and would you get a bunch of them? I mean, I'd go with I don't know. There's so many good ones.
12.
And bring them back to Whatnot to sell.
Oh no!
The first thing that came to if I could, I'd do a ton of Beatle White albums. I'd do White albums all day long.
How long was Columbia House around? Was it that early?
Oh, it was around most of my youth. I think it was around long enough for me to like.
They had it with cassette tapes. I know that. Because there was cassette tapes when I was a little kid.
They did records, cassettes, CDs. They did it all.
I had it in the 90s with CDs.
So that was like really my heyday as well.
So guys,
CDs.
Maybe that's something we'll talk about next time. If you could go back in time and get a record for a penny, which one would it be?
Well, you get 12 for a penny, so you'd have to pick 12.
So maybe next time we'll talk about that a little bit.
I
think I actually have a little booklet. I found one not too long ago. I think I have it over there. We can peruse the flyer.
That's
all right, so what do we guys?
My cousin did too.
What do we have going on this week with all you guys on Whatnot this week?
I'll be on tomorrow morning, 8:45 a.m. Even though the last 3 days it said 8:45 p.m. That's just me, but I will be on in the morning. 8:45.
All right, and I know
9:45 Eastern.
Will be on Saturday morning.
Saturday morning, 8:30. So that'll be my only show of the week till the next Saturday. Because
I'll be on Sunday morning, and Stacey
will not be on this week.
That's Stacey.
Because I'm going to see Wicked for Good on Sunday. And no, my mom and I are seeing Wicked for Good in a theater that's like an hour away. We're seeing it in real 3D with like a big screen and better sound and the seats that shake during scenes. So very excited.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then Black Friday, I will be on and have a coupon for 10% off everything in the shop. Also, if anybody is looking for something for Record Store Day and can't make it, please message me on Whatnot. I am camping out. So if it's not something I'm getting, I can get it for you. We'll be putting them up for sale on Whatnot. The only markup I'm doing is fees. They will not be 10% off. I'm not going to mark them up any more than retail. They'll be retail plus the fee. So if you have any requests and you can't make it, message me on Whatnot, Best Coast Music 531, and I'll see if my store gets it. I'll try and get it for you.
And I'll also with Records Friday, either Saturday or Sunday, I will walk through like I usually do, my local record store. And if something you want, I'll have you buy it directly from that record store. But we'll walk around, and that way you can have access to some titles that maybe you missed out on or decided you wanted at last minute. And I'll walk the store, and you'll have a chance to pick up some RSD stuff if there's anything that you're interested in. And I'm not expecting anything other than you guys getting your record. So we'll talk about that more as we get closer. But so thank you for hanging out with us, and another great show. And we'll see you in 2 weeks.
I'll be in shows and chats, but I won't be live. So everybody have a great Thanksgiving if I don't talk
Happy
to you in a
Turkey
chat.
Day, guys. And although we'll be on over the weekend, so we'll talk again, guys.
Happy Thanksgiving. Love every single one of y'all.
Take care, guys.
Take care, everyone.